Hi, Shirley. It looks like it started, what do you call it? Not sure if you're just still in the room. Looks like it sent notices before I even got the video going. I didn't get it started. Hope someone's still here. This is E, the empty nester. I was going to talk about potatoes, and it looks like the YouTube sent notifications, but is there still someone in the room here? I was going to talk about growing potatoes from true potato seeds. And let me go ahead and start just in case, there really is someone here or someone listening. Shirley, hi. So you still are here. Was it was that quick that it got to you? It's great to see you. I've kind of set myself up under the mulberry tree, and the birds, if you can hear them in the background, they're complaining because they want to raid all the berries that are on the tree. But it's really kind of hot here in Missouri today again, and this is kind of like the coolest place to sit. There's kind of mom and a baby up there. She's feeding them, the berries. But let me get back to the subject. It's this is my favorite kind of potato when I find a potato that's got a heart shape on it. And what do you call that? In my past videos, I've got plenty of videos on growing potatoes from true potato seeds. And basically, what that is potato can not all potatoes. A lot of our commercial potatoes don't form berries. Like a tomato on a plant is a berry, and we're used to seeing that. But most of the commercial potatoes that we get on the market are male sterile, and that means that they can't reproduce and create new plants. And when you do get a berry, like Yukon Gold can have berries now, and it's self-pollinating. So that means that it can create its own kids all by itself. It doesn't need another plant to for a bee to bring pollen over. The pollen, like a tomato, can just fall on it and create a seed. And it's kind of windy here, so it's kind of, I'm wondering if I should risk bringing out a seed. But I had a couple seeds left from last year that didn't get processed, and this cup turned over in the house, so I lost one of the seeds, and I'll have to search for it. But let's see if I can get a way to show this without the wind taking it away. But anyway, the seed is kind of like a little dust. Like if you've seen lettuce seeds, how tiny they are. Potato seeds are actually smaller than that. And what's great about this is you can create new varieties of potatoes by cross-pollinating them, or you can collect the seed and regrow from the seed versus regrowing from a tuber that you saved. So you're saving a lot of space taking the seed versus saving the tubers. So that's kind of why I like doing it too. And I like it's like scientific experiments. I kind of like to see what you can create because that's how we ended up with commercial potatoes. The potatoes in the wild back in history were full of the when you see a brown spot on a potato, if you've noticed that if you bite into it, it's really a bad taste. That's sort of a toxin, but it's not enough to kill you. It's just enough for you to spit it out and go on to another potato that doesn't have the spot on it. And we somehow in history were able to take potatoes and crossbreed them until we were able to form potatoes that were edible, you know, and we bred and bred and bred potatoes till we were able to get big potatoes versus, if you've seen in the true potato seeds, some of my past videos, a lot of the potatoes are tiny little ones all the way down to micro, teeny tiny little potatoes. And that's because they haven't met the right partner to crossbreed with. to form giant potatoes, and that's why there's so many people that go to college, and so many home breeders that are always trying to create a bigger, better plant, and um, it's fun, to know that you created something. And I've got one seed of my own in my stock, where the rest are, you know, other people's seeds that they've got names, and, kind of like this is probably a russet potato. So whoever, I'm not going to go back in memory and remember who created the russet potato, but, this would be the result of their potato. And by growing from clones each year, you get the same potato year after year after year. Or if you, well, I'm just going to hold this up. Let's pretend this is the potato seed because I don't want it to blow off. Where this seed right here, this seed could produce, if it's a diploid or even this, it could produce the parents to this plant instead of um, producing this plant again. So you might not end up with a russet. You might end up with its mom and dad or its grandparents or great grandparents, from the seeds that you're growing from. And I was going to talk a little bit about. Thank you, Shirley. It looks like it's just me and you talking. So it's kind of like maybe we should just had a personal chat. But I kind of wanted to get this out too, as in, I'm not an expert on the subject and I forgot a lot about it. But, maybe someday I need to go back and look at my own video and remember what I was talking about. But as far as growing the seeds too, I wanted to touch that on that too, because a lot of people, I'm in a potato group on Facebook where we kind of share pictures and learn from each other. And over the years, you know, um, I've learned a lot from people because I started out just like most people, where you go to the grocery store and you buy a potato and you put chits on it. A chit is where you put in the window and it grows these little things out, and then plants form from the stalk that comes out on the potato. And with the true potato seeds, you really don't want to go and get a healthy, happy soil. You want a fertile, a sterile soil. Sorry about that. Here's my cup. This is kind of called cocoa core. It's kind of like the shavings from a coconut hull. And somebody decided, like wood chips, that you can't really grow in wood chip. You can grow in wood chips once they're composted enough, but someone came up with the idea of, having all these coconuts around, and they broke them up and turned them into soil and or soil additive. So people are growing in cocoa core now and mixing it with their other soils too, and instead of using peat moss. And when you're growing the seeds for the true potato seeds, you actually want this all by itself, where I'll take a rich soil and put it on the bottom and then pour this on top, because a potato seed grown from a seed, not the tuber, but a seed, is needs a good clean environment so that it doesn't get a fungus and make it die in its infancy. After it gets, its first true leaves, then you can hill it up with some really good soil, because the cotyledon leaf, the first leaf that comes out, it's pretty much done with that energy. Then you could, like with the grow bag here, let me show you this. I usually start them out in a grow bag like this, or in the past, sorry about me bending over, I would start them in single cells like this. But the single cells, you got to keep buying and buying and buying, and that's why I started making the grow bags and out of landscaping fabric. And sorry, I keep promoting them, but this bag is 3 years old or 4 years old now, and it's still here. And what I thought about too, I bought these things, and the potatoes, when I get small potatoes, I'll keep them in this so I can keep the varieties apart. But rather than them sitting here all year, what I thought about doing is I'm gonna take and put a little bit of the landscaping fabric in here, kind of like this, and then pour in the soil. And you know, let me go ahead and put a couple inches or about an inch in here. But if I pour the cocoa coir over top of me right now, in this bag, I'll have a massive amount of water because this is soaking up water. So all we can do is pretend that I did this. And then take the seeds and sprinkle them on top all over the place and keep them moist. And there's enough surface in here where it's probably going to retain maybe a quarter of an inch on the bottom. And you kind of want to mist the seeds until they've got enough roots that are getting water, to keep them alive. And then you'll have to go through some of my past videos. And, I've got a number of videos on true potato seeds where I've shown how to plant them and how to grow them and some of the harvests on, how well they did. But I'm going to go ahead and get these seeds that I forgot. I was supposed to soak these. I did soak them to rehydrate them, and then I got put in the hospital, and then they dried back up again. So I wasn't able to soak them in, take them out of the seed and soak them in, oh, what's that called? For bread, yeast. I wasn't able to soak them in yeast to get the seed coating off. You know how you let tomatoes sit in water, and there's a growth inhibitor on potato seeds and tomato seeds that you want to soak them until the coating comes off. That way it can sprout. I'm not sure if I'm going to soak these seeds a couple days and then just plant them, or see if they've been soaked enough, or maybe do both, and get them growing. But I see there's 5 people in the room right now. Are there any questions, about growing potatoes from true potato seeds or growing potatoes in general? Because, technically potatoes are my favorite crop. And if, I was raised on them, my grandparents grew them, and it was beans and potatoes and cornbread was just, sorry, tongue tied. What they sustained themselves on, they could make a meal out of it, and they did. I had many meals of just beans, potatoes, and cornbread. And then back then, you would add, meat if you had a meat. But again, I guess I'll go ahead and give it a second and see if anyone else has anything a question, anything to say. And I hope the wind, it's blowing a little bit. It didn't affect the video too much. But I'm trying to make just a little bit of a video each day. It gives me something to do versus, gardening or wanting to garden, and I keep trying to think of subjects. So, I might not be able to, you know, I can show you my potatoes growing, but at the moment, all I can do is talk about my potatoes growing, and they're doing well. It's like I showed you yesterday, I think it was the flowers on Charlotte. Um, I'm glad you don't mind learning about the potatoes because, someday, you may be growing potatoes yourself. Um, Keep holes, I'm not sure if that's how you say it. What have you read about potatoes? I've read tons and tons and tons and tons of literature and, history, and most of what's taught nowadays is about commercial potatoes. There's not a lot of people, now there's more and more people talking about potato breeding. and you can go in and look up scientific data on tetraploids and diploids and hexaploids. There's all kinds of ploidies, and that's all genes. You know, the parents of potatoes. You know, it would take me forever, and half of what I've learned is missing. You know, and it's kind of like I was saying. You know, I started out life just eating potatoes, and I'm always open to learning something new, and there's always something new. You know, if I had a microscope, you could see the genes in the microscope, and um, you know, after you've bred the potatoes and see if you've created another diploid or tetraploid or anything, um, and then there's there's just so much, you know, and I don't, you know, I can't, like I said, I can't go through all of that. Do you think that organic potatoes would be male only so that they won't reproduce? It's commercial potatoes. Like this potato right here, there's no way that I can take this potato. This potato is going to flower. This is one that I got out of a grocery bag. This is not the potatoes that I grow. This is not an organic potato. And for all I know, this could be the new genetically modified potato. Um, let's see. Okay. P and W was wanting to know about potatoes that are multi-level growth versus single-level growth. Long season potatoes that take all summer long are more than likely going to be multi-level. It's really hard. Commercially, you may not be able to find them. You know, that's why you got to get into the breeding and growing from seeds to find the ones that are going to do that. And again, it's what's they called? Like with the question for Shirley, an organic potato is a potato that hasn't been commercially grown. It doesn't have chemicals. It doesn't have herbicides or pesticides put on it. So you're eating a clean potato, even though it can still be a commercial potato. And then a genetically modified potato is a potato like russet Burbank, and there's I can't remember. There's three genetically modified potatoes that have came out or started coming out. Simplot potatoes are the ones that are producing them, or not producing them. They're going to be in their products, and you know, they want a potato that doesn't get the black spots on them. They want a potato that you can just peel and let them set around and they stay white. They don't oh, I can't remember the, you know, where they change to a darker color. I can't remember the name of that word, so you have to forgive me on that one. But they're going into chips, you know, possibly potato chips, possibly frozen potatoes. But you know, I don't know unless you can find access to buy Russet Burbank and the other two. I don't know if they're going to be commercially available for you to grow from seed, but they can be possibly commercial for you to buy to eat. And um, you know, I don't know those answers anymore, or you know, I don't remember. You know, if I they are out yet, you know, for the tuber part. But I know they're commercially available for the eating part now for the company to start putting them on the market commercially. But what you know, your question of growing potatoes higher up underneath the ground. Sorry, in case the wind's blowing way too hard for this. But the potato towers don't work. Normal potatoes, 3 month potatoes only grow on one level, and then mid-season you might get two levels, or you might get the potatoes growing further out where they look like they're growing on multi-level. And long season potatoes, you may get a couple levels and 8 to 10 inches growth at the most. going up the stalk. But if you put them in a container and keep hilling them up and hilling them up and hilling them up, if you watch on some of the reveals for potato towers, they either have one potato, no potatoes, because they've smothered the plant. The plant needs the sun on the leaves to produce what potatoes that it actually needs to grow underneath of it. And that's why you see so many failures, because potato towers don't actually work. It's just a two potato, three potato, four. Hi, buddy. Yeah, five potato, six potato. Give me more. you know. Um, but I hope I answered that question. And that's why I don't try potato towers. But Troll Forge did a cheating one. Um, what's that called? I forgot who is doing a potato tower challenge, but he put three buckets, 5-gallon buckets on top of each other, and took and cut a potato in three, and the rule was one potato, and he took that one potato and put each of them in a bucket. So he's going to have potatoes that are actually going to grow all the way up because he cheated. And I don't know if Troll's in here, but I thought that was great. I would have never thought of, you know, cheating, like you said. But he's going to succeed in getting potatoes on 3 levels because he's stacking 3 buckets. And it'll be great, when his harvest comes up. But I don't think he's in here. But shout out to Troll Forge. And let's see, are there any more questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and close for now. And you know, hopefully you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Let's see, a number and then cat at the end. Planted some potatoes in mid-April. They are putting out flowers. Isn't this kind of early? No. I've got flowers on Charlotte over there, and if it depends on your potatoes. Right now, if it's a short season potato, they're going to have the flowers, and then in the next month, then it'll be time to harvest them. So some potatoes too, they can hit, oh, there goes my hat. Getting blown away. But some potatoes can have flowers on and off all summer long. Like, um, you're welcome. Like sapomero in the UK was bred for a long season potato, and you pretty much have to kill the plant to get it to stop growing. And this is my first year with Sarpomero, and I don't know for sure when it starts blooming and if it'll bloom all summer long. I have to talk to the people. It was created in Hungary, but the UK growers are really experienced with Sarpomero, and um, I'll learn this year about it, and I'm learning about Charlotte because even though I grew them last year, I mentally and physically wasn't able to pay attention last summer to know how they grew. But I'll go ahead and close for now. If after the video you have questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments then. But I'll let you all go for now. Thanks for watching, and I'm sending love and hugs and kisses from Missouri. Bye. Thank you.